Hello girls, I hope you're staying safe at home. To continue with the hygiene chapter, today we are going to start from mosquitoes and the diseases it spreads. There are different types of mosquitoes, different species. The first one is known as Anopheles mosquito, which spreads malaria in man. Remember, the mosquito does not cause malaria, it only spreads malaria. Okay, not only in man, it also in monkeys and birds. The malaria germ is a protozoan which is known as Plasmodium. It is written in italics. It is a scientific name, so when you write it down, you need to underline it. Okay. Another species of mosquito which is known as the Culex mosquito spreads elephantitis, also known as filariasis. Okay, and this filariasis is caused by a nematode worm. It is a worm which is known as Wucheria. Okay, there is another species of mosquito which is known as Aedes mosquito, which spreads yellow fever and dengue. Yellow fever and dengue are caused by viruses, but it is spread by Aedes mosquito. Okay, now the germs of these diseases are spread when the mosquitoes bite an infected person to suck its blood, and with this blood the mosquitoes also receives the germs which cause that disease, okay, which goes into the body of the mosquito and it grows and multiplies inside the body of the mosquito. Now the mosquito has become infected, it has lots and lots of germs of the diseases. Okay, so when such an infected mosquito bites a healthy person, the germs goes into the blood through the saliva of the mosquito. So before sucking the blood, the mosquito first injects its saliva into the skin, and what is there in the saliva? The different germs which causes the diseases. Okay, and when it injects the saliva into the skin, the saliva of the mosquito has a substance which prevents clotting of blood, so that suction is produced. Suction for drinking or pulling up the blood of the human. So when in doing so, what is put inside the body of the healthy person? The germs are introduced into the body of the healthy person, and the healthy person also becomes sick. So for that, we need to control mosquitoes so that there is no spread of diseases. So how can we control mosquitoes? First is by spraying. Adult mosquitoes should be destroyed. How can we destroy it? By spraying DDT and other insecticides in the places where they stay, in their dwelling places. Spraying on ponds and marshy places kill mosquitoes at the larval stages. You know, the larval stages of the mosquito is in water. They lay their eggs in water, and then the larval stages, they hatch in the water and then they live in water. So it is very important to eliminate the breeding places. The breeding places should be destroyed. Okay, small ponds and puddles should be filled up so that the mosquitoes cannot lay eggs in these puddles. Next is spraying on stagnant water. Stagnant water, again water, they lay eggs in water. Okay, so what can we do if there is some stagnant water or some puddle? Either we remove all the water, or we can also pour kerosene or some other greasy oil, because you know that oil floats on water, so it will make a thin film on the surface of the water, and then what will happen? Air will be blocked out, and it will also kill the larva and pupae when they come to the surface to breathe. Okay, and there is another biological control. Okay, biological means there are certain living organisms which feed on the larva. Certain fishes, okay, which is known as gambusia, should be introduced in the ponds. They go and they eat up, they devour the mosquito larva. Okay, now next, moving on to another insect which spreads diseases, are cockroaches. Now these are very common household insects, you must have seen. Okay, and they breed, or they lay their eggs, and young ones are hatched out in the connecting manholes and sewers, that is in the drains. They come up through the drain pipes, they come into the kitchens, cupboards, wardrobes, and they stay there. They eat and spoil food, paper, clothes. Okay, they also carry certain viral diseases. Okay, and sometimes it also includes a cancer causing virus. Again, spraying DDT and other insecticides in their breeding places is an effective method of control. Okay, that is, you have to spray DDT and insecticides into the sewers, into the drains, so that their eggs are killed. Now next are rats. Now rats are serious domestic pests. If there are rats at home, how much destruction they cause. They eat grains, they eat other food, they also spread germs of certain diseases. Okay, now sometimes rats will have fleas on their body. Okay, which is a parasite which lives on the rat skin, like you have boochies on your head. Okay, rats have fleas on their body, and these parasites, they carry germs of a dangerous disease which is known as plague. Okay, plague also had spread very seriously in the 20th century. It was an epidemic. Okay, during the earlier part of the 20th century in many parts of the world, and lots of people had been killed by plague. So of course, how rats must be removed. They should be trapped and disposed of or killed by suitable rat poisons, which is known as raticide. So if I give you in your one word answer rat poison, your answer will be raticides. Okay, now contamination of water and waterborne diseases, that is the germs which are in drinking water. You drink that water and then you get sick. So when we talk about contamination, we are talking about the unwanted entry of disease causing germs into drinking water or edible food, that is the food that you eat. Now it is very important to drink clean and germ-free water so that your health remains good all the time. Okay, now contamination of potable water. Potable means drinking water, takes place in different ways. First is sewage. Sewage is, the water that flows out from the drains of houses. If it is not disposed properly, it will leak into the soil, into the subsoil, and then it will go and contaminate the underground water supplies. The water table which is underground in the soil, that will be contaminated. And there are people who are defecating means long, they are going and then they're doing their job in the open. Okay, or they are urinating near lakes, rivers. You must have seen in India especially, you see people defecating in the open, especially if you are in a train, you will see that type of scenes in the mornings. Okay, and they are urinating near lakes, rivers, or ponds. Okay, it also contributes to the contamination of water. Okay, now animal wastes and washing from dairies where cattle is there, poultries, in can also be drained into the water bodies, thus contaminating drinking water. So besides these main sources of contamination, there can be many industrial and agricultural wastes that contains poisonous chemicals and can be harmful to human health when mixed with water bodies. For example, industrial waste, sometimes the water which comes out from various factories, industries, may contain mercury, which causes abnormalities in the nervous system. Tannery waste. Tannery is where leather is made. Okay, tannery waste from leather industries contain bacilli bacteria, which causes anthrax, which is a very, very dangerous disease, and are the most serious water pollutants. Remember, the waste coming from the tanneries are the most serious water pollutants. And pesticides like DDT are the most serious water pollutants. We just learned to control cockroaches and mosquitoes, we have to spray DDT, but if done in excess, these pesticides, it will flow into the water bodies because of the rain will carry. Okay, so what will happen? The pesticides concentration in the humans, it will people will have that water, drink that water, or maybe fishes will eat up the DDT which goes into the water bodies, and when people take the same fish, what will happen? The amount of DDT in the humans will become more. Okay, so it causes hormonal imbalance leading to cancer. And sometimes there are fluorides which are present in drinking water, which causes tooth disorders, bone disorders, and if it is more, it causes a neuromuscular disorder. Okay, that is, muscles and the nerves do not work, and it may be fatal to life, means a person will even die. Now, the three common waterborne diseases are, if the water bodies are not clean, if the water supply agencies like the PHE or the municipality are not very cautious in purifying the water, the residents of the area which drink that water will suffer from three common diseases: cholera, typhoid, and dysentery. Okay, so this may be epidemic, that is, it will spread to a small area, small town. Now, cholera is an infection of the intestinal tract, your intestines, and it is caused by a bacteria which is known as Vibrio cholerae. Okay, now what are the symptoms? Cholera: severe diarrhea, vomiting. So all the water will come out from your body and it leads to dehydration. And because of that, water is lost from the body. There is no urination because there is shortage of water in the body. So urea, which is supposed to go out from the body, accumulates in the blood, which is very, very dangerous because urea is poisonous and it causes death. Okay, so infection of cholera occurs through contaminated water and also by dust and flies that sit on excreta. Okay, and transfer the germs to the food which is exposed, which is left open. So food handlers with dirty hands can also transmit the germs. Next is dysentery. Now there are two types of dysentery: bacillary and amoebic. Okay, now the causative agent, that is the germ which causes bacillary dysentery, is a bacterium which is known as Shigella. These are very important, children. You need to learn the names. Okay, and you find bacillary disease among small children. So the children will suffer from loose motion, that is diarrhea, intestinal pain, abdomen pain, and fever. Mild fever means less fever. And patients are treated with antibiotics since it is caused by bacteria. Now, how do you prevent? By drinking safe and boiled water and eating food that is covered and it is not contaminated by flies. Okay. Now, next is amoebic dysentery. Now, amoebic dysentery means it is caused by an amoeba, that is a protozoan. Okay, and the name of the causative agent, the agent which causes amoebic dysentery, is known as Entamoeba histolytica. Okay, now this organism, how does it enter our body? Through contaminated water and food. Okay, so it goes and catches hold and stays in the lining of the large intestine, where it starts feeding on red blood cells of the patient's intestine. So this amoeba has no contractile vacuole and has one large blunt pseudopodium. So here you can see pseudopodium actually means false feet. It can move. Okay, this side, this may be the pseudopodium, it can form its pseudopodium, means a false feet. Whichever direction it wants to move, it can form the pseudopodium. There is no contractile vacuole. When it is fully mature, it forms cysts which pass out through the feces. The cyst remains active for a long time, and whenever these cysts of Entamoeba histolytica reaches a new host, how does it reach? By contaminated food and water. Again, they split off and a new Entamoeba histolytica is formed in the intestines of the new host. Next, we move on to hepatitis. You have heard about hepatitis. There are three types of hepatitis. Okay, so when we talk about hepatitis, children, hepatitis means a liver disease. In biology, remember, hepatitis means liver, hepatic, hepatitis. So what happens? The liver becomes swollen up, inflammation of the liver. There are three types of hepatitis. You must have heard hepatitis A is the infectious hepatitis which is transmitted through contaminated water. When you drink contaminated water, you will get hepatitis A. The other two types, hepatitis B and hepatitis C, are passed through blood and other body fluids. So it is hepatitis A which comes into the body through contaminated water. So what are the symptoms of hepatitis? Body ache, eyes become yellowish, deep yellow urine because of the pigments, and the liver becomes enlarged, it becomes swollen up. Okay, so how do we prevent hepatitis? There is a vaccine, hepatitis vaccine, proper hygiene, that is drinking clean water, and avoid taking fat rich substances, because if you eat fatty food, it will go and affect your liver directly. Okay, so with this we come to the end of the hygiene chapter. Your assignment for this week is to do the long answer type on page number 155 of your textbooks. Okay, so till then children, stay safe. God bless you.